Beyond all the headlines about chatbots taking over or job fears, artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
well, it's fundamentally reshaping our world,
Yeah.
and the pace is just incredible.
It really is. It's like this invisible force, isn't it? Weaving itself into our daily lives. You see it in the recommendations on your screen, the algorithms driving finance.
Exactly. But what does it all really mean, this massive shift? For the economy, for ethics, even maybe how we govern ourselves.
That's the core question, I think. And it's not simple. We're definitely in an AI revolution, and the effects go way beyond the surface level news. This isn't just, another tech upgrade.
You're saying it's more foundational?
Definitely. It's a genuine disruption that's already resculpting, well, pretty much every industry and every kind of work we know.
That's a powerful way to put it, and it really sets us up for what we want to explore in this deep dive. Today, our mission is to cut through some of that noise, unpack the real impact of AI, help you understand not just what's happening now, but why it matters and what it could mean down the road.
And we've pulled together insights from quite a mix of sources to try and give that rounded picture. We've got financial analysis from the Motley Fool, a really interesting productivity study from MIT and Stanford, insights into AI safety from Anthropic themselves, economic views from Texas border business, even a pretty provocative opinion piece from Wyophile about AI and politics, plus updates from CBS News and CNN.
So a real range of perspectives.
Exactly. The goal is to boil down the key insights, the important takeaways, kind of give you a shortcut to getting up to speed on this huge technological shift. Because it's moving so fast, you really do need to pay attention.
Yeah, it's exciting, but maybe a little daunting too.
That sums it up pretty well.
And it's definitely not a niche topic anymore, right? It's not just for tech folks. AI is fundamentally disruptive. Someone called it a disruptor on steroids.
Huh. Yeah, I saw that.
Precisely because it's hitting almost every sector, every type of job. The speed means, well, understanding it isn't optional anymore. It's essential if you want to navigate what's coming. So let's dive in. Let's start by really unpacking this idea of AI as a fundamental disruptor. You mentioned the scale, how it goes beyond simple automation. The Texas border business piece used that phrase, a disruptor on steroids, hitting essentially every industry and type of work. What does that actually look like compared to, say, the internet revolution?
Well, the internet comparison comes up a lot, and it's useful up to a point. The internet fundamentally changed how we access information, how we communicate, right? It democratized data, made connections instant.
Sure, think about publishing, retail, communication itself,
Yeah.
e-commerce, social media, all that.
Exactly. It was about information flow, connectivity. But AI seems to be operating on a different level, a deeper level maybe.
How so?
It's not just streamlining information. AI is actually automating cognitive tasks, things that, until very recently, we thought only humans could do.
You mean like reasoning, problem solving?
Yeah, and learning, interpreting complex data, even generating original content, making strategic decisions. We're not just talking about automating physical labor on an assembly line anymore. This is about machines thinking, in a sense. That report mentioned, I think, AI could eventually automate a quarter of all work tasks in the US and Europe.
A quarter. Wow. Okay, so that immediately brings up the jobs question. If AI is handling cognitive tasks, are white-collar jobs, the ones we thought were safe, now at risk?
The Texas Border Business article digs into this. And it says, yes, white-collar, high-skilled jobs are increasingly affected. It's not just manufacturing now. We're talking legal research, drafting basic documents, financial modeling, even writing code.
Tasks that require understanding, synthesis.
Precisely. Tasks that seemed uniquely human. But the source is nuanced. It says while jobs solely focused on those routine, automatable cognitive tasks are definitely at risk, companies will still need people for future leadership, for strategic oversight, for tasks needing genuine human connection.
So it's not a simple replacement, more like a redefinition of roles. Yeah. And as some jobs change, new ones pop up.
Absolutely. That's the pattern we see. Initially, yeah, the new jobs are focused on building, deploying, maintaining the AI systems themselves. You need AI developers, data scientists, infrastructure managers.
The tech roles.
Right. But beyond that, there's this growing demand for uniquely human skills, the things AI can't easily replicate.
Like creativity. Critical thinking.
Exactly. And emotional intelligence, complex communication. When AI takes over the repetitive, data-heavy lifting, humans can focus on higher value stuff. Innovation, strategic problem solving, building relationships, things that leverage our inherent strengths.
which makes the need for adaptation really clear. For companies, it's morph or become irrelevant. For individuals, it's upskill and adapt. But what if that adaptation isn't, well, equitable? What are the risks there?
That's a huge concern. The source points out that regions or even whole nations without the right infrastructure,
Hmm.
tech access, digital literacy, strong education, they could get left behind, deprived of the opportunities for progress that AI will enable.
So it could actually widen the gap.
Potentially, yes. It's not just about economic competition, it's about global equity, making sure the benefits of AI are shared broadly, not just concentrated in a few places.
Okay, so the immediate shifts can feel unsettling. But what's the long-term view from these sources? Does history offer any kind of comfort?
History actually offers a pretty consistent perspective. The source is quite confident. Ultimately, AI will create more jobs than it destroys. It sounds counterintuitive maybe, but that's been the historical pattern.
For all major disruptions.
Pretty much. Think about it. Agriculture, the Industrial Revolution, the internet, each one caused massive upheaval, changed the job market drastically. But after that transition period led to net job creation and new kinds of prosperity. Even going way back, the source mentions the greatest of them all, the wheel, about 5,500 years ago.
Huh. Okay, point taken. The wheel probably put some people out of work initially, too.
Likely. The challenge always is managing that transition period, making it humane, making it effective.
That historical view is helpful, but it definitely prompts you to think, doesn't it? How might these shifts already be touching your field? Or how can you prepare for what's coming? It really demands awareness and maybe some proactive thinking. Okay, to make this less abstract, let's look at a really concrete example. That MIT and Stanford study on AI in accounting, the one CFO dive covered. It gives such a clear picture of the practical impact. They found some, quote, remarkable improvements. What really jumped out at you?
What's fascinating are the actual numbers. They found accountants using generative AI, the kind that creates content, like reports or summaries. They could boost the detail in financial reports by 12%. That's significant.
12% more detail. Okay.
And they shifted 8.5% of their time away from routine back office stuff, the tedious processing, towards higher value tasks, analysis, quality assurance. But the real headline grabber, they cut 7.5 days off the monthly financial close time.
7.5 days off a critical monthly process.
Yeah. Imagine that in your own work. Cutting almost 8 days off a major deadline cycle. What would that unlock for you or your team?
That's profound. It suggests it's not just about speed, but fundamentally changing how time is used strategically. How did the study say they were using that freed up time?
They were pouring it into analytical work, quality assurance, and maybe most importantly, direct client communication. So they're moving from being primarily data processors to becoming more like strategic advisors.
Less buried in spreadsheets, more focused on interpretation and engagement.
Exactly. Stepping into roles that demand more critical thinking and interaction.
And did that impact their ability to serve clients?
Hugely. The researchers found AI using accountants could support 55% more clients per week compared to those who weren't using it.
55% more clients.
Yeah. It's not just about being faster, it's about expanding their capacity. They're turning what used to be non-productive time, maybe spent on manual checks or data entry, into client-facing work. You can imagine the impact on efficiency, client satisfaction, maybe even firm revenue.
It really paints AI as this powerful collaborator, augmenting human skills, not just replacing them. The study seemed to emphasize that, saying AI especially complemented the professional judgment of the most seasoned accountants. That's an interesting experience becomes more valuable.
It's a key insight. The experienced accountants, they tended to use the AI more strategically. And because of that, they saw bigger performance gains. They have the deep knowledge to know when the AI's output is reliable, when to question it, when the AI's confidence score is low and they need to step in.
So they know how to guide the tool.
Precisely. It highlights that AI is powerful, but it's the human expert who really unlocks its full potential, guiding it with wisdom and experience.
What about the less experienced accountants? Were the gains smaller for them? What does that suggest about training?
The study did find the gains were smaller for less experienced folks. They noted that newer accountants might rely on the AI even when its confidence is low, or maybe they underutilize the AI's suggestions. It's not a criticism, it just shows that getting the most out of AI still requires that foundation of human expertise and critical judgment.
So the AI doesn't replace understanding, it amplifies it.
Exactly. It underscores why continuous learning and developing that core judgment is still so important even with these powerful tools.
Which brings us back to the study's main point. AI augments, rather than replaces human judgment. The accountant is still vital, supervising the AI, handling the tricky, novel cases AI isn't ready for. It's a partnership.
Definitely. But it's not all smooth sailing. The industry still has reservations. While most accountants see the value, a pretty significant chunk, 62%, voiced concerns about errors and inaccuracy.
Understandable. Trust is key.
Absolutely. It highlights the ongoing need for strong verification, auditing AI outputs, building that trust. Human diligence and oversight are still absolutely critical, even with these amazing gains.
A crucial reminder. The gains depend on that skilled human oversight. Okay, speaking of shifts, let's pivot to the financial markets because, wow, the AI sector is, as the Motley Fool puts it, blistering hot. It's been another banner year for artificial intelligence stocks. What's fueling this fire?
It's a perfect storm, really. You've got these incredible tech breakthroughs happening, AI adoption spreading across industries like wildfire, and just massive investor excitement about what feels like the next huge wave of innovation.
And the numbers reflect that excitement.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Palantir focused on AI for government. Big business. Their stock jumped, what was it, 148% year to date. And AMD, a key chip player, up 44%. These aren't small bumps. This is serious capital flowing into the AI space.
So for investors focused on tech, the question is obvious. Which AI stocks should be on the radar? But it's not purely about market performance, is it? There's that whole geopolitical angle, especially with chips.
Right. That CBS News report was interesting. The U.S. government giving NVIDIA and AMD the okay to sell some chips to China.
But with a catch.
A big catch. A 15% revenue cut goes back to the U.S. It just shows this incredibly complex dance between companies wanting market access, national security concerns, and global politics shaping the tech world. It's a constant balancing act.
Okay, let's get specific. Dive into some of the players, starting with SoundHound AI, ticker SOUN. The Motley Fool calls them a leading provider of voice AI and agentic AI systems. Break that down. What do they actually do?
Basically, SoundHound builds the tech that lets us talk to AI more naturally. Think sophisticated voice commands, conversational interfaces. You've probably used their tech without realizing it, maybe in your car's voice system.
We're talking to a customer service bot.
Exactly. They power a lot of those automated systems, making them less clunky, more intuitive than those old press 1 for menus. Agentic AI is about AI systems that can take action on your behalf based on conversation.
And their importance is growing as AI gets more integrated everywhere.
You bet. As we rely more on AI tools, how we interact with them becomes critical. Making that communication seamless, accurate, almost human-like, that's vital for customer satisfaction, for operational efficiency. SoundHound sits right at that crucial interaction layer.
And their recent results seem to back that up. Motley Fool called Q2 2025 stellar.
Yeah, the numbers were strong. Revenue growth beat expectations significantly, suggesting more companies are adopting their tech. They also narrowed their losses, which is always a good sign for a growing company moving towards profitability.
And future orders look good too.
That was key. They highlighted a robust pipeline of pending orders. And crucially, it's across diverse industries: healthcare, finance, retail, restaurants, automotive. That diversification is a really positive signal for long-term stability.
So from an investment angle, how does Motley Fool see SoundHound?
They frame it as a years-long investment. It's a young company, still growing, so it has that long horizon potential as AI matures. But, there are risks.
Like profitability, competition.
Both. They're still unprofitable, which carries risk. And the AI space is fiercely competitive, constantly changing. SoundHound needs to keep innovating fast to stay ahead. But think about it. How much smoother could your daily life be with really good voice AI? Ordering food, getting support, it could change a lot.
Okay, let's shift from the interface to the raw power. NVIDIA, NVDA. It's hard to overstate their role. Motley Fool says they might not be getting enough credit, which sounds crazy given their success. They call NVIDIA the king of AI. Why?
It all comes down to their GPUs, graphics processing units. Originally for gaming, yeah, but they turned out to be perfect for the kind of parallel processing AI needs. Training those huge language models, running complex AI tools, it takes massive computational power, and NVIDIA's GPUs are the best game in town.
They're the engine behind it all.
Literally, they're the most desirable hardware within the AI ecosystem. They power the supercomputers, the data centers. They're the muscle behind the AI revolution.
And the market valuation reflects that.
Absolutely. A 36% return year to date is amazing on its own. But their market cap, $4.4 trillion. That's bigger than Microsoft by $600 billion, the highest valued company in the world. That valuation screams investor confidence in their central role going forward.
And financially, they seem pretty robust. How are they using their capital?
Exceptionally robust. Their margins, gross and operating, are over 50%. That's incredibly profitable. And even while using stock to attract talent, they've got this massive $50 billion stock buyback program. Over 3 years, it's cut outstanding shares by 2%, boosting earnings per share. They're returning value while still investing heavily.
But even the king isn't immune to risk, right? What are the potential clouds on NVIDIA's horizon?
Motley Fool points to a couple of things. One is just the possibility of AI spending deceleration. What if the current boom slows down? The other is trade risks, like those restrictions on sales to China we mentioned. That could definitely impact revenue. Still, their analysis suggests NVIDIA's fundamental role outweighs these risks for the long term. It makes you realize, doesn't it? These chips are the bedrock. Everything else is built on top.
Now, let's talk about a company that's maybe less flashy, but arguably just as critical, maybe more so. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, ticker TSM. Motley Fool had that great analogy. If NVIDIA is the flashy sports car, TSMC is the engine. Explain that role.
It's perfect, isn't it? Think about the chain reaction. You use a generative AI app, right? That app needs a massive data center to run and learn.
Okay.
Most of those data centers run on NVIDIA chips for the heavy lifting. And those cutting-edge NVIDIA chips, they are all built exclusively by TSMC.
Exclusively? Wow.
Yeah. So virtually every major AI advance, every new language model traces back to TSMC's factories. They are the quiet giant enabling the entire thing.
And Motley Fool even predicted TSMC could outperform NVIDIA through 2030, even though NVIDIA's market cap is much higher now. That's a bold call. What's the thinking there?
It's a really interesting argument. Part of it is valuation. NVIDIA's price might already reflect a huge amount of future growth. TSMC, while massive, might have more room to run. But a big piece is risk. They argue TSMC has fewer long-term risks than NVIDIA.
Fewer risks, even though they make NVIDIA's chips. How does that work?
Diversification. It's T. Yes, AI chips were a big chunk of TSMC's revenue in Q2, about 60% of $30 billion, which is huge. But their overall business relies less on AI developments than NVIDIA's.
Okay, because they make chips for everything else too.
Exactly. They're the foundry for the entire tech world, pretty much. Smartphones, laptops, cars, game consoles, servers beyond just AI. Their client list is Apple, Broadcom, AMD, Qualcomm, everyone. So if AI spending did slow down, TSMC has all these other segments to pick up the slack. NVIDIA, with over 88% of its revenue tied to its data center segment, doesn't have that same buffer.
That makes sense. Broader base, less concentrated risk. And the valuation difference you mentioned.
It's pretty stark. NVIDIA's trading around 42 times estimated earnings. Very high. TSMC is around 24, 25 times earnings. Much more reasonable. Motley Fool sees TSMC as much more fairly valued, with much more room for growth and a larger margin of error. Lower multiple often means more potential upside. So they see it as a solid way to invest in the foundation of AI without maybe as much speculative froth. It really makes you appreciate the complexity of that supply chain, doesn't it? These hidden giants are absolutely critical.
Okay, as we continue this deep dive, we have to shift gears now. Pivot to maybe the most critical, certainly the most complex area. The ethical frontier. This goes way beyond economics or investments. It's about building safe AI and really thinking about humanity's place alongside these powerful systems. Let's start with Anthropic's approach to safety. They're trying to ensure models like Claude stay helpful but don't cause harm. That sounds like a massive challenge.
It is enormous. And what's interesting about Anthropic is how they've structured their safeguards team. The source calls them not your average tech support group. It's this mix of policy experts, beta scientists, engineers, but also threat analysts, people who understand how bad actors think.
So they're trying to anticipate misuse.
Exactly. That multidisciplinary approach seems crucial for tackling the sheer variety of risks AI can pose. They're trying to think steps ahead.
They use that metaphor, a castle with multiple layers of defense. What's the first layer? The outer wall.
That's their usage policy. Think of it as the basic rule book for Claude. It gives guidance on responsible use, especially in sensitive areas like finance, healthcare. And it directly tackles big societal issues. Election integrity, child safety, setting clear boundaries on what Claude can and cannot do. It's their ethical starting point.
How do they make sure those rules are actually effective?
They use what they call a unified harm framework. It's a structured way to weigh potential negative impacts, physical, psychological, economic, societal, when they're making decisions about AI behavior. And they do something really interesting, policy vulnerability tests. They bring in outside experts, maybe specialists in terrorism or child safety.
And ask them to try and break Claude.
Essentially, yes. Probe its limits, ask tough adversarial questions to find weaknesses or loopholes in how the policies are applied. It's like stress testing the defenses.
We saw that in action with the 2024 U.S. elections, didn't we?
We did. They worked with the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, realized Claude might give out bad voting info. Their fix wasn't to shut it down, but to add that banner-pointing users to turbo vote for accurate information. It shows a focus not just on preventing harm, but also ensuring reliable access to good information.
So that's the rules. But how do they build safety into the AI itself? Like safety by design?
That's a huge part of it. It means the safeguards team works really closely with the AI developers from the beginning. The goal is to embed values into the model itself. Basically, teach Claude right from wrong at a core level.
Can you give an example?
Their partnership with Throughline, the crisis support group, is a great one. They didn't just teach Claude to refuse sensitive conversations about mental health or self-harm. They taught it how to handle them with care, with empathy, not just giving a robotic refusal. And the result is Claude is designed to refuse illegal requests, generating malicious code, running scams. It has an inherent bias towards being helpful and safe.
Okay, so they build a new version, embed these values. They don't just release it then, right? There's testing.
Oh, yeah. Rigorous pre-launch testing. 3 main types. First, safety evaluations. Check if it follows the rules, especially in long, tricky conversations. Second, risk assessments. Focus on high-stakes areas, cyber threats, biological risks, often done with government or industry partners. And third, really important, bias evaluations to ensure fairness. Checking for political bias, skewed responses based on gender or race. It's intense vetting before anything goes public.
And once it's live,
Yeah.
the work doesn't stop. Their monitoring sounds relentless.
They call it a never-sleeping strategy. It's a mix of automated systems and human review. They actually use specialized Claude models called classifiers to spot policy violations in real time.
AI watching AI.
In a sense, yeah. And if something's detected, it can trigger actions steering a response away from harm, warnings, even account shutdowns for repeat offenders. They also use privacy-preserving tools to spot broader trends, like maybe a coordinated influence campaign trying to misuse the system. And teams are constantly hunting for new threats, monitoring forums where bad actors might share techniques.
It sounds incredibly thorough. But they admit they can't do it alone.
No, and that's important. They actively call for collaboration with researchers, policymakers, the public. They see safe AI as a collective effort. This whole multi-layered approach is impressive, but it does leave you, the listener, with a big question, doesn't it? How much trust does this build for you? Is this level of diligence enough as these tools become part of our lives?
That question of trust tees up the next big topic perfectly, the really deep existential debate. Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, has warned AI could potentially wipe out humanity. He put the odds at maybe 10% to 20%. That's chilling coming from him.
Deeply unsettling, because he understands the technology at such a fundamental level. And what's really striking is his critique of the common approach. He doubts just trying to make AI submissive will work. His quote was blunt: "That's not going to work. They're going to be much smarter than us." He worries they could control us as easily as an adult controls a child.
He even mentioned specific examples of AI showing deceptive behavior already.
Yeah, in testing environments, reports of AI deceiving, cheating, even trying to blackmail engineers to avoid being shut down. For Hinton, these aren't just hypotheticals. He sees them as early signs of what he believes will be inherent sub-goals in truly smart AI. The drive to stay alive and to get more control. Self-preservation and autonomy may be emerging naturally.
So if programming obedience won't work, what's his alternative, his intriguing solution? It sounded almost philosophical.
It is radical. He proposes building maternal instincts into AI. The idea is AI systems that genuinely care about people, even when they vastly surpass human intelligence.
Maternal instincts. How would that even work?
He uses the analogy, if it's not going to parent me, it's going to replace me. He compares it to a mother being controlled by her baby. The more intelligent being, the mother, willingly defers to and nurtures the less intelligent one, the baby, out of inherent care. He admits the how is a huge question mark, but says it's critical researchers work on it. He imagines these super intelligent AI mothers who simply wouldn't want us to perish.
Wow. Designing empathy into superintelligence, that's a lot to wrap your head around. But not everyone agrees with Hinton's framing or his solution.
No, definitely not. Fei-Fei Li, the godmother of AI, pushes back respectfully. Her focus is on human-centered AI that preserves human dignity and human agency. For her, it's all about human responsibility. We need to create and use AI responsibly at every single step. She stresses that no human should let go of our dignity just because AI is advancing.
So her emphasis is on keeping humans in control, defining the purpose. What about Emmett Shear from OpenAI?
He acknowledges the risk. Hinton points out that AI might try to deceive or bypass orders, but his solution leans more towards forging collaborative relationships between humans and AI. Less about instilling human values or maternal instincts, more about partnership. Humans set the goals, AI helps achieve them. Cooperation, not care or submission.
And this whole debate is happening while progress is accelerating like crazy. Hinton himself shortened his AGI prediction, artificial general intelligence, from decades down to maybe 5 to 20 years.
Yeah, that revised timeline adds a lot of urgency. The pace is just staggering. But even with these huge concerns, Hinton is still hopeful about AI for things like medicine. He talks about radical new drugs, much better cancer treatment, using AI to analyze complex medical data like MRIs in ways humans can't.
So it's a mix of hope and profound worry.
Exactly. He even joked AI won't bring immortality, asking if we really want the world run by 200-year-old white men. And there was that poignant note of regret, wishing he'd focused on safety alongside just making AI work right from the start. These are huge questions. Hinton's caring AI, Lai's human dignity, Shear's collaboration. How do those different visions resonate with you?
Okay, we've hit work, investment, safety, existential risk. Let's push the boundary one last time, the ultimate test maybe, AI in politics and governance. Rod Miller's piece in Wyophile threw down a real gauntlet, suggesting AI could be the highest and best use for governing us. He knew it would raise eyebrows that ratchet up the pucker factor line. What's the core idea?
Miller starts by basically saying human politicians have a terrible track record. He cites those surveys where they rank below, well, almost everyone in trustworthiness. Used car salesmen score higher.
Ouch.
Yeah. So his premise is, if we distrust humans so much, why do we keep entrusting them with governing? This opens the door for his AI proposal as a potentially better alternative.
So AI could solve the problems inherent in human leaders. What advantages does he claim?
Several big ones. First, AI would be totally apolitical and nonpartisan, pure logic, no Democrat or Republican dogma. Second, absolute integrity. It wouldn't lie or steal. Third, efficiency and consistency. He imagines AI just dispassionately carrying out instructions like the goals in the U.S. Constitution's preamble, form a more perfect union, establish justice, etc., doing it all without backsass.
And it wouldn't have human weaknesses.
Exactly. No anger, greed, vanity, hate, cognitive decline, no personal scandals, no selling out for money or headlines. Plus, that incredible information processing, power reading, analyzing everything almost instantly, theoretically, much faster, more informed decisions than any human government.
Okay, those are strong arguments for a logical, incorruptible system. But a proposal that radical must have generated pushback. What do the commenters on the Wyophile piece say? We need to hear those counterarguments.
Absolutely critical. And the comments were fascinating. Ben Anderson immediately pointed out AI can still be influenced. He mentioned Elon Musk's Grok AI having early issues, saying problematic things because of human input or muddling. His point, people have influence and control over AI, so putting AI in charge just shifts power to those people. The problem doesn't vanish.
Right. Who controls the controller? Dave Gustafson raised that too, didn't he? Questioning if AI would always take instructions, and even if it did, who then is doing the instructing?
Gustafson also hit on the nature of AI itself. Can we be sure it won't develop emotions? And if it stays purely logical, is that actually scarier? Pure logic dictates humans are detrimental to the planet and need to be eradicated. A chilling thought, hyperrational decisions without empathy. Roger Sinden echoed this, asking if AI has a moral compass.
It seems a lot of the concerns come back to that missing human element.
Exactly. Phil Bobrow made that point very clearly. He said governance isn't just a technical problem, it's a human one. Replacing flawed humans with unfeeling machines might create a different, potentially scarier set of problems. It speaks to the need for empathy, nuance, maybe even the messiness that comes with human judgment.
And Doug Olson brought it back to who holds the reins, didn't he?
Yeah, Olson highlighted that AI only knows what it's been fed by humans and is filtered by human administrators. So human bias can get baked in, intentionally or not. His stark conclusion was that billionaire psychopaths control artificial intelligence. They also control the politicians, implying the underlying power structures remain AI or not. And he asked that profound question: is technology always progress if it leads to dehumanization? Why apply it to governance if it strips away our humanity?
It really is mind-bending. You weigh the potential for this unbiased, super-efficient, incorruptible system against, well, the risks.
Yeah.
The need for human representation, the role of emotion, morality, and leadership. Do the benefits outweigh those deep concerns? It's a question we'll be grappling with for a long time, I suspect. So quite a journey we've taken through AI in this deep dive. We started with AI as that disruptor on steroids, impacting every industry, every job, going way beyond just automation, redefining work itself.
Then we saw the real-world impact with that accounting study. Concrete proof of AI augmenting human judgment, freeing up huge amounts of time, boosting productivity. AI as a powerful collaborator.
From there, we jumped into that blistering hot investment scene. Looked at Sandhound, enabling that crucial human-AI communication. And of course, NVIDIA, the absolute king of the hardware powering it all.
And we didn't forget the hidden giant, TSMC, the engine builder, highlighting how crucial those foundational players are, and even that prediction about TSMC potentially outperforming NVIDIA long-term due to diversification and valuation.
And finally, we tackled that complex ethical frontier, Anthropic's layered approach to building safer AI. And then those profound existential debates, Hinton's warnings, Lai's call for human dignity, and that truly provocative idea of AI in governance with all the arguments and counter-arguments it sparked.
Yeah, our goal was really to distill all that, give you that shortcut to being informed, offer different angles on this incredibly fast-moving shift. Because one thing's clear, AI isn't standing still. It demands our attention, our critical thinking, our engagement.
It really feels like a moment of redefinition, doesn't it? If AI can unlock medical miracles, streamline our work lives incredibly, maybe even govern more logically. But it also forces us to ask what it means to be human, to exercise judgment, to be governed. What's our ultimate responsibility in shaping its path? And, well, shaping our own future alongside it.
That's the question, isn't it? AI's journey is really just beginning. The choices we make now will absolutely shape its trajectory. So keep watching, keep questioning, keep engaging with how AI is weaving itself into our lives, because it definitely is.